This week, stock markets across different countries told very different stories. The US saw tech stocks tumble, Nigeria went from panic to recovery in 48 hours, and Kenya, they just made history. In one word, the market this week was a roller coaster. Hi there, my name is Colore, and this is your market wrap for this week. US stock markets. The US stock market had a wild week. Tech stocks took a beating, everyone's waiting on their earnings, and somehow Washington avoided yet another government shutdown. On Thursday, November 13th, the Nasdaq dropped 2.29% to 22,870 points. That's the biggest fall we've seen in over a month, and it was all about tech selling off hard. AI stocks, they got hit especially hard. Nvidia fell 3.6% after SoftBank dumped its stake. Broadcom dropped 4.3%. Palantir slid 5.5% to $172, but investors are still watching closely because Nvidia's earnings report drops on November 19, and that could change everything. On a brighter note, the week started strong. Monday, November 10, markets rallied after the Senate passed a funding deal to keep the government running. Crisis averted, and investors were relieved. Nigerian stock markets. Nigeria's market went through chaos this week. First, a massive crash, then a dramatic comeback. Tuesday, November 11 was a nightmare. The NGX All-Share Index crashed 5.01%. Why? Panic over a proposed 30% capital gains tax. In one day, the market lost 4.6 trillion naira. Investors were terrified. But then, Wednesday happened. The government stepped in and clarified that the tax would not be retroactive and would be rolled out with proper consultation. That changed everything. Confidence came flooding back. On Wednesday alone, the market recovered 2.6 trillion naira. The NGX All-Share Index jumped 2.89%, and the rally continued into Thursday. By the end of the week, despite all the drama, the market closed positive, a real comeback story. Kenyan markets. Kenya just made history. For the first time ever, the Nairobi Securities Exchange crossed 3 trillion Kenyan shillings in market cap. That is huge. It shows real investor confidence and a strong rebound. But here's the twist. While the market hit new highs, foreign investors were quietly pulling money out. Let's break it down. The NSE's total value topped 3 trillion Kenyan shillings, driven by strong earnings and better economic conditions. By Friday, November 14th, it closed around 2.95 trillion Kenyan shillings. All the major indices finished the week up. The Nairobi All-Share Index rose 2.0%, the NSE 10 jumped 5.3%, NSE 20 climbed 4.4%, and NSE 25 gained 4.2%. Kenyan stocks have been on fire this year, beating bonds and cash deposits. Safaricom, the market's biggest player, is up 75.4% year to date. That's just incredible. But on Monday, foreign investors pulled out 42.31 million Kenyan shillings. They've been selling blue chip stocks, especially Safaricom, which still had the highest turnover at 122.58 million Kenyan shillings that day. So it's a mixed picture. Historic highs, but foreign money heading for the exits. And that is your market wrap for this week. What story stood out to you? Let me know in the comments. See you next week.